Hey there, comic book fans. I figured I'd continue my journey through my own bookshelves. And here's a book I have, The Fantastic Art of Frank Frazetta. And I believe I got this in high school, which puts it in the early 80s, if not junior high. Lovely painting. And I forgot I had this. I cannot tell you the last time I looked through this book. Probably in the late 80s or early 90s, so I figured we'd look through it together since I haven't seen it in ages. Oh wow, I always loved his pen and ink work. There's a nice drawing of a woman on a horse. But I remember this book was everywhere in the late 70s, early 80s. I probably first saw it in the library. Anybody who was even vaguely a fan of fantasy art, comic books, whatever, had this Frank Frazetta book. But I haven't seen it in years and years and years. I see, Frank Frazetta's work on the internet all the time, but I haven't seen too many books. Some of his early comic book work. From the 50s, probably. Betty Ballantine, is that who's doing our introduction here? The Executioner. As much as I liked his paintings, I always loved his fine line ink drawings, too. His ink drawings had such life to them. And being a comic book fan, I of course liked the comic book style artwork, but just the way he, look at the way the ink line creates the form in that fur. And just beautifully done. There was, not a lot of people doing that sort of thing. Frazetta was the king of it. Stone Age. Cavemen. Of course he had plenty of these people swinging things pictures. Ah, boy, that fell. Let me see if I can hold it up. I got a new camera set up here where I had a bar arm for my camera, so I can actually lift it up and bring it closer without the tripod legs getting in the way. That really helps with this book. There we go. Wolf Moon. And Frazetta also, looking through this, he really used bright colors where you wouldn't see them in a lot of sci-fi paintings and things. Look at all those blues in the guys' backs that are fairly bright, and the blues and the wolves and the oranges in them. A lot of other fantasy guys were dark. Frazetta could get dark and light on you. It looks like he's what is this? Wolfman. Looks like he's mixing pen and ink. I don't think this is a full painting. He's mixing pen and ink with watercolor, maybe. Because look at that coat. It's got a lot of ink work in it. Wolfman. What else do we have here? Neanderthal. This looks more like a full painting. Nice face on those Neanderthals. You can see not as much line work. Mostly paint work. Sea Monster. Wow, I don't even remember some of these. I don't remember Sea Monster at all. Spider-Man. Guy killing a spider. These must have been for paperback books because there's a lot of dead space around this one. As the guy killing the spider is right in the middle, so logo must have gone up there with text, authors' names and stuff. Wolfpack. There's a woman with a little boy down there. Nicely painted. Once again, these bright orange. He likes this blue and orange combo, it looks like, from flipping through this book. Now we're getting this is a little darker, a little more traditional. Was it Green Death? Some guy with a sword fights a snake. Oh, I like this death in the background. Take a look at that little figure. Start to get into, really painterly strokes in the back there, as death isn't made up of a lot of form. The brain. The brain. I guess it's called the brain because there's a brain in the background. It's a strange composition. The eyes kind of go straight up and down with the brain across in the background. It's like an inverted cross composition almost. The apparition. Man, he could really do these just guys sitting on horses. Have tons of action to them. Nice figure in the background there. Berserker, that's a famous one. This is one that gets shown all the time. Once again, a guy on a horse. Tons of, look at that face on the Berserker. Let's see if we can get it up there. Love that Berserker face. He's got all the musculature down. He was just a, terrific painter. Detail from the Snow Giants. Red Haven. There's a reason he's got a reputation as the greatest fantasy illustrator, if that's what you could call him, in ages. Oh, to be fantasy illustrator? Why not? Anything out of this world. At the Earth's core. One of those giant Frank Frazetta butts. Along with a nice monster face. What else do we have in here? Woman with a scythe. Oh, she's got a snake too and a lizard over there. Wow, this is some nice stuff. Tyrannosaurus Rex. I must say, dinosaur anatomy has come a long way since Frazetta days. Because there's no way anyone today would kind of use this. It looks kind of made up, that anatomy on. I'm sure there was a lot less reference for dinosaur muscles in the 1970s. Another famous one, Egyptian Queen. I remember seeing this one all over the place. Nice, nice painting on that woman, Egyptian Queen, guy hiding over in the shadows, leopard down the bottom. Tiger Woman. I think I've seen the Egyptian Queen more times than I've seen Tiger Woman. Atlantis. Don't recognize that one either. Lots of nice yellows in there along with his oranges and blues. I haven't seen him use yellow that well. Look at that. He's got in this helmet here, it looks like he's got aged copper. Or that green in this figure here. I wonder if that's oh no, that's some kind of seaweed. Okay, it's not copper, but it's metallic. Interesting. The Silver Warrior. Oh, that's another famous one. I never knew the name of that one. The Silver Warrior. As you can see, there's a lot more. There was a lot more anatomy reference for polar bears, as they all look right. The Silver Warrior. Wow, this is kind of nostalgic. The galleon, with a spaceship. The galleon is what's flying through the air. Once again, these blues and oranges he likes, like the detailing in the back of the galleon. Now back to some 1972. That is a strange. That tiger's face is almost like a mask. He really patterned that. Oh, it's got it's got 6 legs. That's why. Some kind of crazy tiger. Well, even when he's got figures that are still, they're all in motion. The way this cuts here and cuts there and there, and he's got movement from these bangles that are hanging off him. And his sword sheath is moving, and everything's curved and moving. He was so good at movement. Behind us came the fighting men of Ugor from A Fighting Man of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs. Again, this guy's position is beautiful. He's just kind of picking her up. You can see all the weight on his legs. As he tries to pick her up, these lovely little monsters down there. I think I might like his pen and ink drawings better than his paintings. With wide, distended jaws came the great white lizard from A Fighting Man of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs. More pen and ink work. More pen and ink work. Wow, nice. He's using tones in that one. The Death Dealer, detail from. This might be his most famous painting. Let's look at that face. I think they made a comic out of this, didn't they? Somebody at one point made a Death Dealer comic. I have no idea what it was about, but this is one of his most famous ones. Was this a book? This must have been a book cover because it's got all the room for the logo up there and down there. But I don't know what book it was on. They never mention that. The Mammoth. Once again, beautiful. He's got symmetry with all that, and he's got a beautiful twisting figure there. Lots of greens in that one, too. Indomitable. Don't recognize that one. Man-Ape. This one I've seen plenty of times. It's funny how some of them I remember and some of them I don't, since I haven't looked at it, but it must be this red cape I remember, but is that Conan? That that looks kind of like Conan, but who knows? Some nice painting on that. Red cape, red highlights. Red everything. Swamp Demon. Like I said, this one isn't familiar to me at all. 74. Nice female figure right there. Let's bring it up. Good stuff. What else do we have? What else does he have for us? We're getting near the end. Ah, Middle Earth. A nice Hobbit picture. Frazetta gives us, shows off his cartooning skills a bit too. Nice wolf, nice Bilbo or Frodo. Probably Bilbo because he's by himself. The bear. Wow, I don't remember a bear picture. All the highlights down here where he just gives hints of the stairs and stuff like that, and the bear fades away into shadow. Wonderful stuff. I don't remember this at all. It's like a bear in a cavern guarding his gold. Sun Goddess. This one's familiar. You know what? I may have paid attention to the Frazetta nude women more in high school than I did the bears. I mean, that could be a reason that I remember some more than others, but there's this one I remember. Chained. I remember this one too. Or it could just be that it reminds me of a Conan picture. His back as he's chained up, nice snake head. Oh, there's even a monster back there in the shadows. Let's see, we're almost to the end. Ah, the Barbarian. Now that's a Conan one. I recognize that. I guess they can't just use Conan's name in this book, but I remember that one was a Conan cover. I don't know which Conan cover, but that one's been reproduced a lot of times, and with Conan. Detail from the Barbarian. Nice details. Let's give you a little look at the detail. Just standing there, and he still has some good movement in it. This Let's flip back. This is something that's so hard. I mean, you see a lot of comic book covers with guys just standing there. He can get more power and movement out of a guy just standing there than anyone else. I mean, he just, I don't know how. It's the fact that he's got the arch of his back going. He's got his arms are straight but curved a little. He knew what he was doing. Is that the last one? Oh, no, this is the last one. The Sea Witch, and it's real tiny. Why is the Sea Witch real small? Because it's horizontal on a vertical book. But there's the Sea Witch. Alright, so there you go. Hope you enjoyed looking at that with me. The first time I've seen it in decades. Little Conan, little naked ladies, little monsters, little violence, little heroicness, all sorts of stuff here in the fantastic art of Frank Frazetta from 1975. I think the copyright date was. I think there was a volume 2 of this too. It was like volume 1 I saw everywhere. Yeah, first printing, August 1975. I've been carrying this with me a long time. It's about time I looked at it. So you guys all have a good week out there.